Hey, how's it going, guys? I'm Paradoxic, and welcome back to Batwoman. This time we are on episode 7, I believe it is. I think this is 7. Right, I think this is 7. I think I think I had to skip 6. I had to kind of skip 6. This is 7. I had to skip 6. I did react to it. I did have my reaction actually recorded and ready to edit, but then, Premiere is just, an issue at times. It's a massive freaking issue at times, so I just had just major technical difficulties when it came to actually finishing the edit, and then when it came to rendering, it just refused to do anything flat out whatsoever. So I couldn't do the actual kind of fair use cut or the actual full length cut for episode for that episode. So I had to skip it. So that sucks. But it was a great episode nonetheless. I really still enjoyed it. So that was that. And I still have my notes, so I can still kind of go over what happened in episode 6 even. In preparation for this one, so we had some tensions. We had some tensions between Angelique and Ryan. Angelique was somewhat back to her kind of old ways, and still doing shady stuff in the name of work and stuff like that. And Ryan was even more concerned that that their love life would just be like a rerun of what it used to be and what got Ryan into trouble originally and stuff. So she was fighting to actually get Angelique back onto a better path, and even actually tried to hook her up with a job at the Hold Up even. I believe is the I do believe it was the hold up, but she tried to do that, and then Angelique revealed that she actually doesn't mind this kind of work anymore. She actually is okay with it, and then she found out that Ryan had actually bugged her phone, because I think Ryan had actually been approached by Sophie about doing about bugging Angelique's phone for the sake of a case, and then Angelique found out, and then they had their own argument. So tensions ran high. Tensions definitely ran high. So that was not so cool to see. We had Alice and Ocean working against Sapphire. It has been revealed that that for whatever reason their individual kind of memories of being together on the island were erased by Sapphire. So they were working against Sapphire, and they wanted and because Ocean was the actual guy that Alice actually wanted, that Alice was tasked with killing by Sapphire. They actually found another body, or I think they killed someone else, and then they actually found they used that body and created a mask of Ocean's face, and then used that to to try and trick Sapphire into thinking Ocean was actually dead, because she did ask for actual proof of life and everything, proof of death, even proof of actually like a dead body. So they left behind a body for Sapphire's people to find, so that she would actually end up thinking that was what happened. So that was that. We had Hamilton Dynamics scientists were actively trying to actually replicate and synthesize further cures based off of what they found in the Desert Rose, what they were given by Mary in the Desert Rose. And they even sent out hitmen. Initially they sent out a patient suffering from some kind of mental kind of condition. Like they even actually tried an operation on him to try and cure his mental condition, and then that didn't work, and then he came back even worse, and they sent him out. They pretty much kind of exploited his violent tendencies to try and get him to find the Desert Rose cure for them, and then that didn't work, and then they actually came by as hitmen themselves, and then forced Mary to actually reveal the cure to them, so that now they know it's from Coryana, it's from the island. So now, I mean, good luck to them, but now they'll probably try and find a way to Coryana, try and capitalize off the Desert Rose as they would with any other kind of advanced medicinal kind of technology. So all that stuff's going on, and we had Mary being discovered by Jacob. Jacob found out about Mary's underground, unlicensed, illegal clinic, and him being the leader, the commander of the Crows, he felt he had no choice, and he had a legal kind of obligation to shut it down, in the name of legality and authority and licensing and all that kind of stuff. So going forward now, I think Mary's very, very easily likely to lose her clinic and to just have to go back to med school and actually finish up and actually get her degree, and then actually, become an actual licensed practitioner of some kind. So it will be interesting to see. It will be interesting to see if she actually does go down that path, or if she's actually, because I think the whole point of the clinic was to actually give health to provide healthcare for those who actually couldn't afford it or were denied for whatever reason. So I think even if she actually does join the hospital, she still will have to abide by their laws of expensive healthcare and all that jazz. So it'll be interesting to see where she goes from here, or if she actually does just boot up another clinic, but just try even harder to keep it out of Jacob's eyes after that. But yeah, we can see, we can wait and see where that goes. But yeah, that was pretty much all I managed to pick up from the last one. So going forward now, we'll see exactly how Ryan and Angelique's relationship moves forward, and if they can move forward together at all after what's happened, or if they're going to have to go their separate ways, and we'll see how Mary moves forward with now losing the clinic and all the other kind of good stuff that comes with this new season of Batwoman. So yeah, on to episode 7. Hopefully this one actually goes up this time and you can all enjoy it. But in terms of reaction, this one, as always, will only be the fair use cut, so it'll be just pretty much the highlights of the episode. But if you guys want to catch the full-length version, that one will be available over on Patreon, so you can go check that one out too. But yeah, on to Batwoman, season 2, episode 7. Let's go.
Remember a few days ago when I deleted half the DVR to make room for your shows? What? Just
You
remember
comparing her to a DVR? Oh, because it's gonna hurt. And yeah, okay. Can you really not call Kara? Does this not call for like even a mini crossover? Whoa. Oh, jeez. Oh.
But I'm pretty sure the kryptonite just entered her brain.
Oh, it's giving her all sorts of dark thoughts of her killing Alice. Okay.
Yeah, this is story time. See, you were going to take me down memoryless lane, tell me that
I love that memoryless lane.
Ocean and I were experiencing.
You fought off 4 of my men before we put you down. To me,
Damn.
you were a barrel.
So she was a fighter. She was a fighter even before the training.
You were something else. She would never admit it, but to this day, she considers herself a prisoner of Coryana.
Huh.
Oh, poor thing.
And yet she rules it.
Handed a kingdom.
But does she have a choice in ruling it, or is she forced into that kind of lineage?
There are very few rules on our island. No leaving, no stealing the desert rose.
Yep, and they broke all of them. Yeah.
And Sophia wanted your loyalty, so that after you went home to Gotham to get revenge against your family, you would come back and join hers.
And what did I want?
The reason no one noticed was because you two hated each other.
Ah, so it was like a lovers to haters, enemies to lovers. It was enemies to lovers.
Anyone ever heard of a gun?
Guns can jam, get taken. The real fight is in here. And that, they can't take away. Preparation, engagement,
Tell that to Negan.
commitment.
Literally, tell that to Negan.
Ideologies.
Are we getting the lovers this soon? Nope, still enemies. Still enemies.
Became each other's.
Damn, she flips him good. Oh no. Oh, blood.
Why'd you stop?
Oh no. Oh, blood everywhere. No. Because she's dead. Oh no, it's getting deeper. Oh no.
Hey, where's your wine opener?
Oh.
my god.
Damn. Oh, Jesus.
I'm sorry, how do you know my life? Can I have 2 seconds?
Okay.
Oh, that's not a good look.
You'll find him in Coventry. I'll give you a head start.
Oh, that's just uncalled for. Oh. So she cheats on her girlfriend and then pushes her off a balcony.
I can take the Batmobile.
I've never driven it before.
I've never driven your car before.
Guys, this is not the time. This is... Can you please... Okay, great. Just, yeah, okay, fine, yeah, great. Okay, yeah, Mary with the Batmobile. I can live with that. I can ride with that. Yeah, I can, yeah, just drive.
Tell me you remember her. Tell me her name.
Cora Lewis. Oh, damn.
I'm getting the justice my mother deserves.
This is a very murderous justice. Oh. I mean, as long as she's only doing it in her mind, that's more tolerable.
I don't have access to my clinic anymore. I'm gonna need a few supplies.
So, do I look like Postmates or?
No, nor do you look like a doctor, which is who needs to stay with her right now. Unless you want to give it a shot, you know, put her life in your hands just for funsies.
Okay, I'll be back.
I love Mary. I love her so much.
Save some for the fishies. So, And what would you claim?
That she was in love with you.
Oh, okay. Was she?
I heard there was wine.
Sounds
That's a
like
cool
training's going
jumper.
well. According to the law, centuries ago, the women of a village in Europe banded together to escape their abusive husbands. Months later, the men they escaped tracked them down. As their ships landed, the men were met by a ferocious female army. The women succeeded in driving the men back into the sea. Many women lay dead, slaughtered. Only my ancestors and a few others survived. They wrote that only a woman's life force
Can
could
help
bear this
grow.
medicine,
Yeah, the desert rose.
destined to save mankind.
Damn, that is cool. Mystical and ever so slightly depressing in a certain way, but still
She
super
knew
cool.
she couldn't tell you how she felt, so
Yeah.
she showed you. She entrusted
She
you
bled
with
for her.
most valued secret.
That place was her life. She helped a lot of people.
Catherine cut all the corners at Hamilton. Look where it got us.
Yeah, doing bad stuff.
I'll take that as a no.
Mary is literally trying to help people.
My God.
Where's the board members dead? Is the entire board dead? The entire board's dead. Oh god, the doctors too.
Dr. Rogers.
Whoa.
Much for our lead.
Jesus.
Good news, I got to drive the Batmobile. Bad news, the wipers button and the rocket launchers look very similar.
Oh, geez.
Someone should label this.
Damn.
What did you do?
Coryana sent her assassins to cover their tracks.
I believe Sophia calls them the many arms of
Oh, so
death.
the many arms of death
Just
did
hope they
this
didn't
then.
find the
Yeah,
map
they
that Roger
killed
stole.
the board.
Has to be around here somewhere.
Oh, jeez. Wait, wasn't the map burned? Didn't they burn it in the last episode? It's the best you stop digging, Sophia. I vaguely remember that
They beat us to
they burnt it in the last one. Or at least no, he burned away the blood. They burned away the blood, and then the painting was left over. And then
They have my
this,
damn it.
yeah, they got rid of the map. Oh, and Tatiana saw this. She saw this. Oh damn. Yeah.
Surprise! You killed your soulmate that you don't even remember. Yeah, I found my mother's head in a freezer. So if you're trying to shock me, you're gonna have to do a little better than that.
Yeah, have that laughing stop real quick. That laughing stop real quick.
Teaser and Dino.
In the dinosaur? The dinosaur, okay. I thought it was like a giant one they had somewhere. No. Okay. If the kryptonite poisoning is already in her head, how many more hallucinations is she gonna have? Can't afford any more distractions of her own.
Find Enigma. Bring her to me.
Enigma? Who's Enigma?
You can't do this.
Who's Enigma?
A hypnotist.
A
She wants to
hypnotist.
screw with our heads.
You're not
Ah.
a snake, Alice. You are going to embrace this fairy tale persona of yours, and you're going to imbue it with fury.
So she turned her into the Alice that we meet in season 1.
Now I'm off to Coryana to get my final revenge on my sister. Unless you have a reason to stop me.
She's not gonna tell him, is she? Probably easier to maintain the single life, huh? No risk of anyone hypnotizing you into thinking you actually are in a relationship.
Where's Ryan? Do you know who I am?
Honestly, so many women keep showing up in that outfit, it's impossible.
How's this?
Oh, she's actually unmasking. She's unmasking. Is that a smart idea? Oh, and she's surrounded by desert roses, isn't she? All those plants in those crates. Oh. Oh boy. Okay. Okay. Probably not desert roses then, or at least not functional ones. Oh, up against the wall again. Up against the wall again.
Ryan! This isn't the girl I raised.
But she killed you. I don't know what made you this way. But you're not worth it. You'll never be worth it.
The only thing worse than losing one of your children is the cycle of waking up every morning with hope and then
Exactly what Ocean described. Yeah.
losing them all over again by dinner.
Yeah. Oh, damn. That's a look. That's a look and a half. An actual red top hat and everything. Probably not a top hat, but a cool red hat nonetheless, and shades. Yeah.
Cheesy.
Yeah, like a female Mad Hatter. Yeah. I dig it. I dig it.
I put a tracker in her boot.
Oh, okay.
We follow her.
That's smart.
We find Coryana.
And we get you the desert road.
So does this mean we actually get Kate back? Does this mean they're bringing Kate back? Okay. Okay, so I mean, I want to talk about that last piece. So Ryan bugged Kate, Alice's shoes, her boots, and said. So then the plan then is to actually follow Alice to Coryana, find Kate. So then, does that mean we're getting Kate back? Does that mean they're actually gonna be bringing Kate back in the show, or is it something? Because I haven't personally heard any kind of rumors or any news of them having like recasts. Because I think if they were going to bring Kate back, it would have to be a recast. I don't think the way that the terms under which that that Ruby Rose left, I don't think they'd be able to bring her back. So I think if they were going to bring Kate back, they'd have to recast her. But then would they actually like in story wise? Would they do that? Because then, like a big thing about Ruby Rose leaving was, is there going to be season 2? Are they going to have to recast her? Or are they going to do? Because then the first theory after Ruby left was, okay, maybe they can just recast Kate Kingdom, and then they said no, we're just going to introduce a whole new character and then they announced Javicia Leslie as playing like Ryan Wilder and everything. So it's like, okay, cool, a new character. This will be fun to see. And now going into this, like now we're like 7 episodes in, not even 10 episodes in, and now we're already consider like it's like the past few episodes there have been words and mentions and talks. I mean, I guess character motivation wise, no one is really over Kate. No one wants to let her go. No one wants to admit that she's actually gone forever. So like none of them are actually willing to actually not just not just about actually accepting Ryan into the fold, but like none of the characters being who they are and being connected to Kate in the way that they were. Like none of them are officially ready to actually say goodbye to Katie or accept her demise anyway. So I think it makes sense motivation wise there. It makes sense that if they are given the hope and the opportunity to find Kate and bring her home again, then they would all jump on it. They would all immediately jump on it. So that like in that sense it makes sense. But I think story wise too, I think like a huge hope of the fans was that okay, if they're gonna bring in a new character, give her the chance to shine, give her the chance to actually show us that she's the new Batwoman, give her the chance to be this character, and give Javicia herself to actually the chance to bring this character to light. But now, like, the more and more they talk about Kate, I'm just nervous. Like, sure, it would be cool to, it would be cool, but I think I don't want. I personally just don't want them to do it in a way that it would overshadow or outshine like Ryan's position as Ryan Wilder and as the new Batwoman. I don't want them to I don't want the story to be Ryan Wilder is used in order to bring back the character from the first season. And I don't want to be that. So far they've been doing like a good enough job of actually showing Ryan going through her own personal and kind of social connected struggles of being the new Batwoman and actually proving that she can handle the mantle and she can handle that pressure and that she can be the new Batwoman. But now it's now it's edging closer and closer to the point of we can actually find our way to the island where Sapphire is keeping Kate captive, and we can find her and we can bring her back and she can be back in Gotham and we can be good old Kane family again. Like that. Again, it doesn't sound like a half bad story, but it's like how they execute it and exactly how they use Ryan in going to that story. It is like again like I don't want them to use Ryan for that. Make Ryan her own character. Like allow Ryan to stand out on her own and to be her own character. But then I feel like still having Kate around. I know in the beginning I was, I was actually understandably slightly more pissed off at the fact that they felt like they had to kill off Kate Kane. And I think had they not even teased it, it would have been even better. I think I don't know. It's like back then I was like, oh my god, they did not just kill off Kate Kane. They could have just kept her around. But now it's like. Now it's like, oh, okay, and I know, and I'm kind of flip-flopping back from that perspective now I'm just like, oh, wow, I hope they don't, again, I don't have any issues with them bringing back Kate Kane, so long as they don't use Ryan to execute that kind of story, like Ryan deserves Javicia deserves to tell the story of Ryan, and Ryan herself as a character deserves her own spotlight and her own kind of chance to be her own character, as opposed to actually bringing the original character back and just being used as a tool to execute that kind of returning point in the story. So I am nervous about that, but if they can bring Kate back, I mean, even if they bring Kate back, there's no guarantee that she might want to stay. Because I was thinking, like, maybe it's a case of, oh, maybe Kate decides to actually go and find Bruce. Maybe she actually leaves Gotham to go and find Bruce and hunt him down and actually find him and bring him home. Maybe she's tired of writing to him in the journal. Maybe she actually needs to, or maybe she even just goes to find him and visit him. Maybe she knows better than to actually try and bring him back because he won't come back. Or maybe she tries to visit him, or maybe she just leaves and tries to find herself and actually do something else or something. But no, but then in the first episode they actually like red herringed the viewers into thinking, oh, Kate Kane's dead and now we have a new one straight away. But now it's like, oh, like as the episodes go closer, it's like, oh, we have all these we either have half leads or we're chasing leads, but in the end, like the end game is still to find Kate and bring her home. So we can wait and see. We can see how that goes down, and if they can bring her back, and allow her and Ryan to coexist, believe me, I will be all for it. I'll be in full support of that. But I think more than anything, I do believe in Ryan getting the chance to actually show the world that she is the new Batwoman and to actually enforce that new kind of character certification, if that's a phrase that makes sense. But yeah, I don't know. Just hearing that, it's like like that. Then in my head, it just kind of translates to so they're basically just gonna spend the next few episodes actually using Ryan to try and bring Kate back instead. So yeah, I don't know, but I guess we'll see. How that goes down. But hopefully they can coexist. If we can get Ryan and Kate again, I'd be more than happy. Like two Batwomen, or two Batwomen, maybe Ryan actually getting advice or something from Kate on how to handle the mantle, or like Kate to actually wishing her good luck and then bidding farewell. Like maybe she still goes to find Bruce afterwards. Maybe she doesn't really stick around for very long, but yeah, because the thing in like Kate Kane, even as a character back in season 1, she didn't really she did like there wasn't really much of a problem with her either. I think the disappearance of Kate was due to actually Ruby Rose, the actress herself, actually having an issue and her leaving on her own terms. So like the character, like the audiences had little to no problem with the character. The story had little to no problem with her. So it became a question of what will happen to Kate Kane. But now it's like let's just use the new character to bring the old one back, which doesn't sit right with me, and I'm sure it wouldn't sit right with many people, but again, we'll see. So, and yeah, we get a lot more exploration onto what the actual visual truth behind Alice and Ocean's time on Coryana was, with the lovely flashback narration of Tatiana herself, and a lot of different connections going on, a lot of different kind of love. I don't know what I mean, it's 4 of them. There were 4 of them: Sophia, Alice, Ocean, and Tatiana. So like a love square, perhaps a love square instead of a triangle. So yeah, that one kind of those connections going on. So Sophia having a thing for Alice, Ocean. And Ocean, I think I somewhat enjoyed the kind of whole kind of enemies to lovers trope thing that Ocean and Alice had going on, like them initially just turning out to be training, and then afterwards, because the whole I think the enemies the enemies to lovers thing going on there, and even kind of Alice herself kind of defined it later on as like a hate crush thing. But I think from the way they showed it, it definitely looked like it started off from them two disagreeing on how to live life and how to like what there was, and even Alice being like there's a whole world beyond this island and you don't even know it because Sophia won't let you leave, because like it's one of the rules, you can't leave, and you can't leave especially not without the Desert Rose. So or even with the Desert Rose. So because of that, not only are they sheltered on the island, they're also actually, hidden from the rest of the world. They don't know what's truly out there, what else is really out there and stuff. So she, I think her kind of overall plan was to literally just like survive here for as long as she could, and then eventually she wanted to be able to leave and to actually go hunt down her family and get revenge against them, which we saw how that went down in season 1. So there was that stuff going on, and then Tatiana being Tatiana, she had a thing for Sophia, and the closest she got was being her right hand. The closest she got was being her right hand, and then she was immediately stung by jealousy, um, with like seeing how Sophia felt towards Alice too. So there was that. So I think I mean Alice. I think she's never really shown. I mean nowadays Alice is shown being somewhat kind of flirtatious towards almost anyone. Like like it's like, and I think it's kind of like her way of actually luring you in before she attacks you. So actually like making you lower your defenses and then cheap houses and stuff like that. But there's that. But then I think she's never really shown reciprocating those affections or those like advances towards those same women. So I don't know, like I mean, I think they haven't really bothered to explore who she is or how like who she's attracted to, fully or anything, or like how she is. But I think the one romance we've seen for sure, is definitely Ocean. And it's one that literally spans the last few years, like as opposed to anything else. So that one makes sense at least. But she's never really shown like returning those affections for Sophia or anything. But she did make kissy faces at Tatiana back when her and Sophie were on the island. We saw that much happening. But yeah, so those connections were there. So yeah, Sophia and Sophia was inspired. Tatiana said that Sophia was inspired by Alice. So like, Sophia herself, like she apparently, according to Tatiana, she herself feels like a prisoner on her own island. I think it kind of made me look at her line, like her saying that defending the island and defending its resources was her birthright. It kind of made me look at it a different way, thinking about what Tatiana had said before that, like her saying that she felt like a prisoner on the island. It made me feel like maybe Sophia definitely has like maybe mixed feelings about the island. Like maybe she actually does she does understand the kind of the severity and the kind of depth of the role that she has, being the ruler, having to oversee everything and having to protect everything with pretty much her life. But at the same time, she does want more than that, and it's also like I think Ocean's line towards her in the end being like, I like, because I have the one thing that you want, and you're like, you want what you can't have because I have it, or like anything along those lines. But I think like looking at it maybe as a viewer, like knowing what's been said before, I think I at least kind of saw some kind of double meaning where like she can't really have just any romance, because I think again her followers look to her for guidance and for judgment and for fair ruling and stuff. So if she just kind of willy-nilly falls in love with anyone with anyone she comes across, but not only that, but with an outsider too, because I think especially like Tatiana's whole kind of outlook on Alice was that she's like a filthy outsider, she doesn't deserve to be here, we should just either kill her or banish her and never let her never let her near the island again. I got there in the end. So yeah, so then she is the ruler, so she can really instigate any rules she wants. She can actually she can technically have anything she wants, and she could enforce the rules in a way that no one's allowed to question her or her feelings or who she wants or what she wants. But at the same time, it's like it just wouldn't really get like for her image, it wouldn't really give the best thing. Like okay, so outsiders are outlawed, but then Sophia's allowed to actually have to catch feelings for this one outsider that she just suddenly has taken a shine to. And I think even then, it's not because she's an outsider. It's not because she's some kind of forbidden fruit to her either. It's literally because like Alice did inspire Sophia, like her journey from where she got from before to now, like the fact that she even escaped her own captivity was inspiring. But then the fact that she wants even more. She wants to explore. She wants to go out. She wants to do things. She has her own goals. Like that sense of freedom and that sense of ambition alone is enough to inspire Sophia. But then the fact that she's already escaped, she's already come this far, she's already found her own way, and she was in some sense a good enough fighter even before the training with Ocean. Like even once she was captured, she took out like 4 of Sophia's men before they actually managed to capture her and everything. So that alone kind of gives Sophia enough confidence in who she is as a fighter and who she is as a survivor as well. Like she's actually willing to get her hands dirty to actually get to get from point A to point B and C and D and onwards and everything. So yeah, I think yeah. So like her feelings toward Alice are not like they're not, what's the word, like they're not like blind exactly. Like there is a reason. She sees her as more than an outsider. She sees her as more than just someone from outside the island. She sees her as a fighter and a survivor, someone who would fit in well with Coryana and with Sapphire's people, someone who could actually be trained to reach even further physical and mental potential to be who she is, to be the survivor that she can be. So yeah, I think that connection there definitely makes sense. But then also like her connection, but then Alice's connection with Ocean too. Like Ocean, once he finds out that there is a world beyond and stuff like that, he actually does. As we see, he does then opt to actually leave Coryana with some Desert Rose and with Alice, and he actually does kind of opt to take her with him and to start a new life, to start a whole new leaf. And he even beyond that, he also kind of he also encourages her to let go of this vengeance plan, like to actually leave her family and start a new life, let go of that kind of emotional kind of baggage and that kind of mental baggage too, and actually just just drop like vengeance is especially mentally draining too, and and I think an interesting perspective is he also kind of understood how the family felt too. Like he even made a good point that even Jacob then kind of like personally recalls later on in the episode that he even says that it's actually better for them to it's it's angering, but it's also like understandably better for them to actually be misled into believing that she is fully gone and dead forever and there's no bringing her back, as opposed to them spending day after day after day after day just with this endless kind of false hope that she could be brought back. And even if you go back to season 1 and describe and like see how Catherine and Jacob kind of described their situation and Kate's situation, like Kate wasn't eating, she wasn't sleeping, she was restless and unhealthy and everything, and even Jacob himself was just just depressed as all hell, and like the entire family was on just on the edge pretty much of kind of self-destruction. So she did what she thought could actually help the family and convince them that she was dead, and then she actually saw them coming back and moving on with their lives and actually kind of trying to maintain some sense of sanity and everything. So he had a point. He actually did have a point there. So I like that kind of writing too, like him actually recalling back to what eventually actually would have happened, but instead actually, and I think he didn't really treat her feelings as invalid. Like he said, he clearly understood like why she felt the way she felt, but he also knew that it was healthier for her to move on the way that they did too. So instead of constantly seeking revenge, just like you move on with your own life too. Like if they've forgotten about you, then they've forgotten about you. If they've moved on, then they've moved on. And he cared about Alice enough to take her with him and to actually give to show her a new life, just like she had actually told him about the possibilities of one. So that kind of stuff seemed pretty cool. And then of course they start making out on the bench and things go to another, and then Tatiana finds out and then that's her chance. Like she even said that she saw the opportunity to jump and destroy Alice, and that was the opportunity to actually to go running to Sapphire and tell her all about how she saw Alice and Ocean sitting on a bench and doing the good old KISSING. So she told them, and then Enigma. I think I won't lie. When I first heard Enigma, especially because this being like a Batwoman show, this taking place within that kind of sort of like the whole kind of Bat vigilante family kind of universe and everything. Like when I first heard of Enigma, I won't lie, instinctive, like almost as a reflex, my mind did go to Enigma. Well, I've heard that name before, and it's like it's like the first name of the Riddler, like Edward Nigma, Enigma, like I did think of that at first, but then they were like, oh, this has to be more to do with the mind wipe, and the Riddler definitely cannot do mind wipes. He can do mind fucks, but he can't do mind wipe. So no, this was Enigma, and she was a hypnotist, and also one who owed Sapphire a favor. So she was presumably still on the island too. So she used her own hypnosis to erase Ocean and Alice's memories of each other, and then sent them down separate paths. But then knowing how obsessed Alice herself was with the Alice in Wonderland story and that kind of fantasy and that kind of that kind of lore, she actually managed to hypnotize her into believing that she actually was some kind of incarnation of Alice from that story. And then she goes to Gotham, builds up her army like the Wonderland gang. She becomes Alice. She does all this rhyming with it, pretty much every monologue she does, and she becomes the person that we're introduced to in season 1. She becomes that new person because of Sapphire's planning and Enigma's hypnosis. So seeing where those origins come from was really cool. Seeing where those kind of villain origins comes from was really cool. And then after that, we see Ocean himself has actually gone a separate way as well. So it won't be a good like a good few months at least, like a good year at least until they actually meet each other again, and then it's actually under very different circumstances. So yeah, crazy stuff, crazy stuff. And we even got a cool little history, slightly depressing because of the origins and what happened, but also like a cool little tidbit on the history of Coryana. So women from Europe who were horribly abused by their husbands then fled and um, found an island under the Andromeda and one other constellation. I don't know what the other one. I can't remember what the other one was, but under one constellation and also Andromeda. So they found that, but then the men eventually tracked them down, and then they went to war, and then the women actually beat them, but then blood was spilt, and then that blood then came to nurture the desert rose. So that was, I think it's a cool kind of, like a cool kind of sentiment and a cool kind of like, I think, metaphorical maybe, because they said it was because Sophia said that it was the she said much blood was spilt, much blood in general. She didn't really we know it had to be the blood of the women who fought the men, but then the men who actually died in that war too. And then she even demonstrated actually cutting her own finger to actually, I just drew on my own finger. She actually cut her own finger to actually demonstrate the blossoming, the pretty much instantaneous blossoming of the desert rose too. But then towards the end of the episode, even what's his name, Ocean, even said that he would do it. So I think it could work with either men or women's blood. Then, like if it's just like the blood that the blood given to nurture the desert rose. I think it stands maybe more as like a metaphor. So like if you're willing to give blood to nurture. If you're willing to give blood to save lives, which is exactly what the desert rose does, it's like a cure-all thing. If you're willing to give blood to ensure freedom and safety and good health, then that could maybe do it. Like that could be the point of the desert rose. Like the desert rose is meant to actually save you to ensure your freedom and to ensure your kind of extended life period. So then, if you're willing to give blood to do that, then that then nurtures the blossoming of this kind of this flower that gives you that ability to do just that. So I think that's like a somewhat easier sentiment to go by, like a somewhat more of like a nicer sentiment to go by too. So that was cool. I mean, it wouldn't really stand in favor of the men because the men were there to literally hurt them and to take them back and do whatever. But then with the women, they were fighting for their freedom, fighting to stay on the island and to rid the island of their previous oppressors. So yeah, but then like Ocean being Ocean, I think it would also, I think Ocean wasn't the only man there either. There were other men who were part of the island, were part of Sophia's army too. So she had both male and female fighters and residents of the island, we can presume. So yes, I think maybe by that point, anyone who then willingly gave their blood to nurture and protect and to ensure the freedom of, then actually went forward to actually help nurture the blood of to help nurture the kind of blossoming of the desert rose. So yeah, so then that alone then is a tricky process. So it means you can't really drain your residents of their blood to actually ensure the desert rose, but then it's more of like a it's more of like a maybe like a ceremonial thing, maybe, or maybe more of like a a precious kind of process that you don't just ask anyone to just donate their blood. But then even if you do donate, even if you then do kind of donate or give your blood to help blossom more roses, then that means that person is forever connected to Coryana, and it makes it even harder to actually let them go or to actually allow them to leave or something. So then it could be the blood pact, the blood connection that Sophia has, and also like her being passed down that line of maybe like her ancestors being previous protectors. Like she feels like it's literally in her blood. She maybe then feels like it's a bloodline she literally can't escape, and stuff. And she then feels like being the ruler. She's ruled for this long. She can't just she's she feels like she's ruled for this long, so she can't just up and leave. And even if she did, she wouldn't have anyone besides from her right hand, Tatiana, to actually lead, and then that wouldn't be like a process that works as easily. So there's a lot of different factors that goes into it. But that history to Coryana was really cool to find out. And yeah, it was a really cool concept. A really, again, depressing in its origin and in its kind of context, but still like a cool kind of mystical and powerful kind of origin story for Coryana and the Desert Rose. So yeah. And we had Ryan going through her own mental struggles. So the kryptonite poisoning had then reached her eyes. I mean, you know what? Visually speaking, I thought it was a cool effect that we actually had like nice, bright, shiny, glowy green eyes for her from the kryptonite. But then that was like a sign of even further physical and mental danger, and it was a confirmation for Mary, at least, being the medical professional that she is, was a confirmation that the kryptonite poisoning had then entered her brain. So then that would be, and even before that, she was pretty much screaming in Luke's face that that felt like her brain was hemorrhaging. So not the best of signs. And then we see later, as the episode goes by, we see that in real life she is kind of hallucinating her mother being there, her mother being the one that she lost. She's hallucinating her mother, but then even inside her actual head, she's hallucinating herself in her own Ryan Wilder get up. But then she hallucinated killing Alice in, presumably in the same apartment that her mother died in, like presumably that exact same apartment. So she hallucinated killing her. So I mean, thinking about it, like I think it was a lot more tolerable that like it was actually purely happening in her imagination. But then given her kind of desire to exact that kind of vengeance on Alice, in reality, it wasn't exactly the most kind of surefire thing for her sanity or for her kind of goodwill. So yes, and then as time went on, she then went on to track down Alice at Ocean's place. I think, well, no, she went to Angelique first. She went to Angelique because she felt like Angelique, having been to Ocean's apartment to begin with, would know where Ocean is, and she would know that kind of connection. Only to find out that Angelique had been cheating. I mean, to be fair, she visited her as Batwoman, which I'm still surprised that she didn't really notice that it was Ryan under the mask. Like, I think she had like a voice modulator, maybe. Because like the voice modulator usually sounds clearer and a lot more obvious, like it's actually distorting and like technologizing her voice. I mean, I know that's not a word. Forgive me, I know that's not a word, but it's still modulating her voice in a more obvious way. But I think in this one, and I don't know if it was just me or if I didn't really hear it properly, but it just didn't seem as obvious. Like, I think most of the grunting and the kind of, tortured speaking was actually for her reeling from that pain of kryptonite poisoning. But other than that, it didn't really seem like there was any distortion of the voice. So it felt like, from that, and also from seeing like her, like at least half her face uncovered, it felt like and Angelique should have noticed that, oh, it must be Ryan under there. But no, just bat, like it just, like, to her, it just seemed like, like a bat vigilante who knew way too much about her life for her to be comfortable with. So yeah, but then as soon as she showed up at the apartment, like, it is another woman comes out in what looks like a bath gown, hoodie type get up, and asks where the wine is, and it's clear that Angelique has been sleeping with another woman. So yeah, I mean, that's not really something you can look past. I think in the next episode, like, it's not something that Ryan will be able to look past once she comes back to confront Angelique again. And I think, thinking about it now, I'm wondering if they're gonna pull a Friends on us. I'm really wondering if they're gonna pull a Friends on us with the whole kind of with that whole Toxicast, we were on a break storyline that they pulled off between Ross and Rachel for seasons on end. I really hope they don't, because I think it was hard enough watching that take place in Friends. I don't need to see that happening in Batwoman too. But I'm really hoping, like, I'm really kind of curious as to whether that's the kind of concept and that's the kind of route they're going to go down. Like, oh, because of our last argument, I assumed we were broken up, we were done with. So then Angelique reeling in from the kind of trauma of being feeling betrayed by Ryan and wanting to be with someone, she then ends up actually going out and hooking up with a random girl at a bar or something. I mean, it would be pretty hard hitting and rough if it was actually someone from the hold up, but at the same time, it's like, she likely would have felt lonely and betrayed by Ryan, so then she'd actually probably maybe she would even get drunk and just try and hook up with a stranger or something. So that could have been the result of that. But yeah, I mean, there's definitely going to be a confrontation. I can definitely sense that coming, and it's not going to be an easy one to watch or anything, but it's likely necessary, and it's not something that, I mean, it's definitely something that Ryan is going to remember. She was not drunk on kryptonite. She was just kind of reeling in from the pain of it. So she, will definitely remember it. And then next episode we'll see her confronting her as Ryan Wilder. So that should be interesting to see. But yeah, then she eventually finds Alice, and yeah, so she has her own. So she has her own enforcement of the code of the code of being Batwoman, the code of being a Bat person, like a Bat vigilante, is that you never kill, you only apprehend. But then she didn't even do that here too. I mean, she had a good reason. She then said that she had a good reason for not apprehending her, but then she then goes through like the paces of actually not killing her. And I think in the moment, I won't lie, my reaction might seem underwhelming because of the fact that, like, for one thing, I was engrossed. I was actually waiting to see as the moments went by what would happen. But also, it just felt kind of weirdly paced to me. Like, she goes from literally being bloodthirsty with rage and vengeance, like she has been for the past few episodes, but then afterwards, like after seeing the hallucination, the ghost of her mother again, she actually then reels back and decides to let her go and everything. I think her unmasking in front of her was like a really kind of, shocking thing for me. Like, oh, because like now she knows what you look like, now she can attack you or go after people. I mean, she only has Ryan and Mary now, really, but I mean, she only has Luke and Mary now, really, but at the same time, it's like, like still unmasking in front of her could be like a very, very unideal thing, especially with being a superhero and everything. So that was odd, but or at least it was shocking. But then the fight ensues, and they crash and tumble and kerfuffle and everything. And then afterwards, after seeing her mother's ghost, she actually rolls back and claims that Alice isn't really worth it. So I think at that moment there could have been like the enforcement of the code that like she's really not. Because I think it also ties back into, I think it makes me think of Harley Quinn's line from Birds of Prey that like psychologically speaking, vengeance very rarely brings the catharsis and the release and the justice that you hope for. Like you turn and I think she even actually tells Ryan and Mary. Luke and Mary. I don't know why I keep getting Ryan mixed with Luke. Luke and Mary. She tells Luke and Mary later on that she felt like killing her would only make her closer to Alice instead of actually instead of actually encouraging her to be the hero that she believes she can be. So I guess that is kind of true, and it's also like a common enough trope that it's a common enough trope that like the villains are the villains because they make those choices. They choose to kill, they choose to hurt people, they choose to maim, and they choose to inflict that kind of mental and physical damage onto people. But then the heroes have to. I mean, the heroes sometimes have to actively hold them back, but to hold themselves back from actually, stooping that low or like resorting to doing the same things that their villains do, than like their enemies do. But they also kind of hold themselves above that code of actually not succumbing to that darkness, like to not succumbing to the darkness of actually killing, and to actually exacting revenge, and not succumbing to their feelings and their like emotional kind of reflexes and emotional responses, like you killed someone I love, so now I'm going to take you and all your people out too. But and I think it's an interesting enough thing where like some heroes do end up killing the henchmen and the actual lower level baddies, but then once they actually get to the top of the food chain, they actually get to the villain. That's when they're like, oh, you're not worth it, and I'm better than this. And it's like, okay, so you could kill all my people, and then once it gets to me, it's like that's when you decide to have like a sense of morality all of a sudden. But either way, it's a cool enough trope to see, and it definitely kind of sends that. And I think they definitely work to send that message that you're better than this. You don't have to succumb to what they're doing. You don't have to be like who they are. You can be better and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, but then you get the anti-heroes like Red Hood, who just, I mean, he kills mercilessly, but then he kills people that he also kind of believes deserves it, and he kills people that he believes that the justice system can't really successfully fix or rehabilitate, or people who he believes don't deserve redemption. So him and Punisher and Venom and stuff, like those kind of anti-hero types, you get them, like those ones are really enjoyable to see because of who they are and because of how they think as well, like as well compared to vigilantes like Batman and Daredevil and all that kind of stuff. So it was interesting. In the moment, it seemed kind of. I think in the moment it just seemed kind of weirdly paced. But looking back, it's like that is exactly who Batwoman is. She does not kill. She does not like actually exact that kind of emotionally charged justice. Like she fights for justice because it's the right thing to do, not because she feels like a personal vendetta against each and every person. But she knows what it's like to lose people. She knows what it's like to lose. Like the ones you love and everything, and especially in Ryan's case, she knows what it's like to lose that kind of that kind of hope and everything. So yeah, it was still. I think that the message and the sentiments were still there. But in the end, I think that alone proves that Ryan is very much worthy and capable of being the Batwoman, because she does not succumb to killing. She actually does know the importance of actually being the light that is needed in the darkness and all that jazz. So yeah, it makes sense. And Sophie and Jacob were doing their own investigating and hunting for the map to Coryana, and they went to Hamilton Dynamics and found the entire board the board of Hamilton Dynamic members dead, and I couldn't tell if it was a murder or a suicide. Because for one thing, it pointed to murder because we find out later on that the many arms had been there and they burned the map. So what I was remembering was what's his name, Ocean, burning the blood away from the map. And what I was remembering was the blood burned away from the map, but then the many arms themselves had actually burned the rest of the map, and then Sapphire, and then left behind a message from Sapphire saying, it's best to stop digging now. So there was that. But then the board members, so then the blood was all over the walls, which made me think it was like a murder and like a splattering. I think everyone was drained of their blood. I think there were like those stands with the blood bags on top, and then the IV tubes going into the hands. So I think I was wondering like were they drained? If they were drained, then the blood should be in the bags. But then there's no blood. I mean, where Dr. Ethan Rogers was, like his head was lying in a pool of his own blood, so he could have been murdered. And I think if the many arms were involved, then it definitely would have been like an assassination or like a murder. Them cutting them open and setting them open and doing all sorts of bloody tactics. So either way, they're all dead, and the map is gone. So now their only hope literally rests in actually working with Batwoman to follow Alice back to Coryana, and Alice has now been picked up again by Tatiana. So she's also kind of got like a new do. So she's got like a red top hat and cool shades and a nice pink coat. I mean, her new do looks great. Her new getup looks great. So now we will presumably be led back to Coryana, and I think it's going to be interesting seeing if Jacob can actually work with Batwoman this time and actually, cooperate, and they can actually work together, because I think now they have a common goal. Because I think now Ryan herself has agreed to actually help Mary and Luke actually find Kate on Coryana again. So now I think their common goal is finding Kate, but then the actual the other goal will actually be fending off Sapphire and her army on Coryana, and actually seeing if they can actually get to Coryana in the first place. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see if that actually goes into fruition. But yeah, fun stuff. And yeah, that is pretty much all I have from this episode. So hopefully this reaction actually goes up. Hopefully no technical difficulties from Premiere or anything else. And then hopefully I can actually play catch up with the rest of the episodes too. So was that no? Let's not do that. So yeah, that is pretty much all I have from this one. So hopefully this reaction actually goes up, and I don't have any issues with Premiere going forward. So yeah, that was all I have from this. Yeah, that's all I have from this one. Hopefully, so going forward, we'll see the team going to Coryana. Hopefully, or finding their way to Coryana and saving Kate. And I think if they do decide to bring back Kate, I'm very curious as to who they recast her with. If you do already know, or if you do already have any, if you've seen theories or any confirmations, please do leave them. I am more than happy to find out who they cast. I mean, if I don't recognize her by the time I see her, then questions will be in the air and you can answer them. But otherwise, I'm more than happy to find out if and when she actually resurfaces in the show itself. So I'm curious to see if they'll actually show us Kate when they bring her back, or if it's going to be more like a background thing. But either way, it'll be fun to see. So yeah, that was Batwoman Season 2, Episode 7. So thank you guys, as always, so much for being here and for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed it, then salt and burn that like button. Comment on what you thought of the episode and what you think is coming up next time on Batwoman. Once again, the full-length reaction for this episode will be over on Patreon, so you can go check that out over there. And yeah, that is it. So, I will see you guys next time.